Finally, there seems to be some sense being restored, some order being restored to Indian skies. Kingfisher pilots who got on strike started falling in sick and had led to massive cancellation for the airline have actually withdrawn their strike after talks with the management, where the management assured them that their dues will be paid by the 15th of May. Now you have to remember that Kingfisher pilots were striking because of the salaries being unpaid, despite management assurances to actually pay those salaries by this month, rather by the start of this month. That hadn't happened, so these pilots started calling in sick. It started at Delhi, leading to massive cancellation, and coupled with the Air India pilot strike, it obviously had caused a lot of grief and agony to flyers across the country. For more on this story, we'll go across to Pankaj Upadhyay now, who joins us on the phone line. And Pankaj, it seems that Kingfisher management has yet again averted a much bigger crisis, because this incident of the pilots going on strike yet again had the makings of a much bigger one, and could have snowballed. Kingfisher management has averted it.
So that even the bigger question remains, has the Kingfisher management been in a position to organize the much needed funds? This is not the first time that the management has given out a date. I just had a word with the pilots and engineers, and they maintained that they have got no surety whether the next date which has been set by the management, whether they're going to abide by it or not. Remember, they have not been paid ever since the month of January. So they are maintaining it's only that the passengers are getting inconvenience, and for that very reason realizing their highest responsibility towards the passengers in this peak summer season, and by the letter which Mr. Malia had given this very morning, stating that perhaps all the pilots and the engineers should be one at this crisis hour, that they are returning back. But then, Siddharth, this is not the first time, as we all understand. Even in the past 2 months, there were 3 assurances that were given by the management. All the dates were not kept. The bigger question also is when the pilots and engineers maintain that they are forcing themselves to work. Imagine when you are flying an aircraft, you need to have your mind absolutely free of all the tensions and tribulations. But here the pilots clearly maintain that they are not tension-free. There are a lot going in their minds. So perhaps I think at this point of time, DGCA should ask the management whether they have the required funds or not. Just shifting the dates from one thing to another, that will not resolve the issue.
So why didn't the pilots ask for that insurance? Why didn't they ask the management whether they have ensured that they have the required funds to pay their salaries right from January onwards, as you fairly point out, that they haven't been paid? So did the pilots ask that question? And what if they aren't paid their salary dues by the 15th of May? What happens next then, Pankaj?
Siddharth, at this point of time, the regulator, that is the Director General of Civil Aviation, which clearly sees the chaos that is there in the Indian aviation industry at this point of time, needs to step up. They need to have a word with the management. DGCA is not coming clearer now. If DGCA clearly understands that Kingfisher does not have enough funds, they cannot pay the pilots, then they have to take the decisions accordingly. As it is, the Kingfisher is not able to run its international operations. If operations have been curtailed by half, if it does not have the funds, if it is not able to pay the pilots, then you don't have to make it an ego issue. Mr. Malia does not have to make it an ego issue, because here the lives of the passengers are involved. DGCA clearly is not going up to its responsibilities. As far as the pilots are concerned, pilots are maintaining they are finding it very hard to run their households these days. They have got no other option but to wait and abide by what the management says. In fact, they go up to saying that they are being harassed now. In fact, they allege that the Kingfisher management has sent them text messages. They are giving the messages through the management sources that if there is a strike, if there is disruptions within the Kingfisher fraternity, then legal action could also be taken. So this is not a very good scene that's happening at the peak summer season, wherein 2 big players, Air India and Kingfisher, are in the disruption course.
Certainly, but at least the pilots withdrawing the strike for the moment would ensure some order to return to Indian skies. Thanks a lot, Pankaj, for joining us and giving us those updates.